Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories and information here can be found at our website at indiancountrynews.com. Here's the news from the day from the Associated Press and other Native American news sources. A new trial date is scheduled for two men charged in the 1975 slaying of a woman on the Pine Ridge Reservation. John Graham and Richard Marshall were to stand trial starting last week on charges they committed or aided and abetted the murder of Anime Pictou Aquash in December of 1975. The trial was delayed to give the defense more time and is now set to start on May 12th in Rapid City, South Dakota. Marshall was indicted in August of last year, 5 years after Graham and Arlo Looking Cloud were charged. Looking Cloud was convicted in the year 2004 for his role and sentenced to life in prison. Prosecution witnesses accused Marshall of providing the handgun Graham used to kill Aquash on orders from American Indian Movement leaders who suspected she was a government informant. Some members of the Meskwaki tribe are going to court to block the tribe from buying a Marshalltown bank. 6 tribal members filed a request for an injunction in Marshall County District Court of Iowa to stop the deal with family-run Pinnacle Bank. They want to give more time to a pair of petitions circulating through the tribe calling for a public referendum on whether to buy the bank. Attorney Darrell Meyer filed the motion asking for the court to delay the bank purchase until a referendum can be held. Tribal leaders planned to start a new bank about 2 years ago, but turned to Pinnacle Bank when it became available. The federal government says it won't take any more surplus military land into trust for the Oneida Nation of New York without advance notice. A federal court conference scheduled for last week was canceled after the agreement was reached. The state and Madison and Oneida counties in New York went to court after the General Services Administration turned over 18 acres of land in Verona County to the Federal Department of the Interior. Interior is holding the land in trust for the Oneidas. It's the first Indian trust land in New York, the rest all being of Aboriginal ownership status. State and county officials say they wanted to make sure additional land isn't transferred to trust without their knowledge. The GSA says it will notify a judge and state and local officials at least 60 days before transferring any more land. The future of land covering nearly a third of the Hawaiian Islands was at stake recently when the United States Supreme Court heard oral arguments about state authority over 1.2 million acres once held by the Hawaiian monarchy. But lurking in the background are at least 2 other elements that may help determine how much political and economic power Native Hawaiians will enjoy in the upcoming years. U.S. Senator Daniel Akeke, a Hawaiian Democrat, is pressing a measure aimed at creating a governing entity for Native Hawaiians. That body would negotiate with federal and state authorities over compensation for the illegal 1893 overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy. At the same time, state legislators are advancing bills that would clamp down on any notions by Governor Linda Lingle or her successors of selling large portions of the former monarchy lands, also known as ceded lands, prior to negotiations with whatever Native Hawaiian government results from the Akaka bill. The controversy over ceded lands has stewed in the background of the multi-ethnic culture that basks in its Hawaiian heritage, yet many Native Hawaiians remain frustrated over how their islands were taken, their lands divvied up by outsiders, and their culture commercialized. Those feelings bubbled up at a Native Hawaiian rally during January when participants threw shoes at an effigy of Governor Lingle. The Milwaukee, Wisconsin law firm of Godfrey & Kahn has announced an expanded economic recovery team to include a broad range of practice areas to better serve its clients, including the Indian Nations Practice Group, now headed by Carl Artman, former Assistant Secretary of Indian Affairs. After the success of its economic recovery symposiums recently, the firm realized that many business executives, local governments, and tribal officials officials have many questions regarding the stimulus package and how they might benefit. The team's well-established expertise in many areas of this stimulus package will offer clients the best resources to benefit from this major federal program, said Rick Bliss, managing partner of Godfrey & Kahn. During the recent National Basketball Association All-Star Weekend held in Phoenix, Arizona, the Hopi Foundation was presented with a donation of $50,000 by the NBA Players Association. William Hunter, executive director of the Players Association, said, being in the Southwest, they wanted to honor a tribal group. Hunter added they wanted to locate a tribe that is not affiliated with Indian gaming, nor is an entity of a tribe. Of the 22 tribes in Arizona, the Hopi is the only one that does not have a gaming compact. The Hopi Foundation is a private nonprofit organization that serves the Hopi people. Barbara Polay, executive director of the Hopi Foundation, was elated with the generous donation and said, "We are honored that the NBAPA choose our organization to receive this generous gift. These funds will make a difference in helping to support educational initiatives in our local communities." Every year, the NBA Players Association selects one local charitable group from the host city or state and presents them with a donation. The Hopi Foundation has worked in the Hopi communities for 21 years, providing training and educational opportunities through various initiatives. The Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma has named Dr. Charles Grimm, a Cherokee citizen, as Senior Director of Health Services, a top-level position. Grimm will assume the position starting this week. Grimm, the first dentist to serve as Director of the Indian Health Service, is an Assistant Surgeon General and holds the rank of Rear Admiral in the Commissioned Corps of the United States Public Health Service. As the director of IHS, he administered a nationwide health care delivery program totaling nearly $4 billion, providing preventive, curative, and community health care to approximately 1.9 million American Indians. Grimm's career spans more than 25 years in working with Indian people across the United States. During his time with Indian Health Service, he traveled the world working on health issues affecting Native Americans, Alaskan Natives, and the indigenous populations of Canada, Mexico, New Zealand, and Australia. In his new position with the nation, Grimm will provide leadership and direction for the Cherokee Nation W.W. Hastings Hospital as well as specialty services. The Blackfeet Tribe's Pikuni Industries of Browning, Montana plans to upgrade a building and use it in manufacturing lightweight materials for the Army's missile program. Pikuni has more than $1.2 million in federal and tribal money for work on the building previously used to produce prefabricated homes. Pikuni manager Warren Blackman says the upgrading may be complete before year's end. Financial support includes a $970,000 grant from the U.S. Economic Development Administration and $277,000 from the Blackfeet Tribal Business Council. Blackman says he is awaiting delivery of a Defense Department contract awarded last year. He says the contract must be in hand before equipment may be acquired and employees trained. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank our underwriters for helping us with this broadcast. Come in and join us again soon. Thank you.